Say hello.
Hello, morning. Testing,
Again?
testing, morning.
Okay, anytime you ready. I don't you ready?
Yeah.
You ready, I
Yes,
go?
yeah, Richard, right. First, we have to say name, Richard.
Yes.
Right.
Good morning. Name is Derek Richardson, President of the Estate Police Association of Trinidad and Tobago. To my immediate left, I have Mr. Robert Utley, General Secretary of the Estate Police Association. To his left, I have Mr. Videsh Bagwandin, the second Vice President of the Association. And to my immediate right, I have Mr. Richard Ryan, Trustee. First, I want to thank the press for coming out to this news conference, which we would have called because of recent developments that occurred on the Special Tribunal. I want to bring to the attention of the public that a judgment was delivered at the Special Tribunal, at the appeal court, in a matter which involved the entrenchment of officers at the Public and Royal Bank. That retrenchment took place in 2014. The association appealed the matter to the Special Tribunal. The Special Tribunal decided that it did not have the local standing to hear the matter because the association did not have a local branch, or what we call a branch board, at that company. That matter was appealed to was sent to the High Court. The High Court agreed with the decision of the Special Tribunal. The association then appealed the matter to sent the matter to the appeal court. That matter was heard and adjudicated on in favor of the association. The matter at heart speaks to representation, right to representation, and the right to justice. The Supplemental Police Act, which governs the Estate Police Association, gives the association sole rights to represent estate conservators. And previous to 2014, the Estate Police Association would have been representing estate conservators in any environment, regardless if there was a branch board present. The result and the effect of that judgment that came down at the High Court was that officers who were employed, in such environment without a branch board, a local branch, would have been denied the opportunity to have representation. Because I would have mentioned before, the Estate Police Association has sole rights to represent estate constables. The association, of course, thought that this cannot be tenable, and the appeal court agreed with the association. Mr. Anthony Bullock represented the association, and via civil appeal number 258 of 2019, the decision of the Special Tribunal upheld that the association does have local standing to represent the estate conservators at RBC and any environment where there is no branch board, and directed that the Special Tribunal hear the matter concerning the retrenchment of the officers at RBC. Another part, major part of this judgment was that the Special Tribunal decisions could not be reviewed. Bullock challenged that it is not a superior court of records and that its decisions can be reviewed. And the court so ordered that the decisions of the court, of the Special Tribunal, can be reviewed. The court states, I consider therefore that these two cases are cases they would have cited. Two cases now reflect the current state of the law. The Special Tribunal is not a superior court of record, neither is it a court of unlimited jurisdiction. Rampasad J was correct to hold that the decisions of the Special Tribunal are subject to the supervisory jurisdiction of the court and are reviewable. Now, the association, in pursuant of any issue before us, goes to the Special Tribunal. The Special Tribunal now is contending that the appeal court is incorrect, and they would have filed an application to go to the Privy Council. It is worthy to know that they did not file for a stay of the judgment. The application was allowed. The association did not contest the application to go to the Privy Council, because that is justice. Everybody, same way we had a right to appeal. If the Special Tribunal feels so strongly about it, they do have the right to appeal. But it was strange that the court, the place where we have to go to seek justice, would have decided to appeal such a matter where it really spoke to the right to representation. Because a number of persons would have been subject to companies now we having to pull the matters out of the court because there was no branch board. But be that as it may, that is their right, and they so did. Now, we had a matter before the court. It was on Tuesday. And at that matter, the chairman of the Special Tribunal indicated that from henceforth, the Special Tribunal will not be hearing any matter from the EPA until the determination of the matter at the Privy Council. We have absolutely no idea when the Privy Council will hear or when the Privy Council will even meet. The resultant effect of that is that about 20 matters that we have before the Special Tribunal have no idea when they will be heard. Those matters predate 2018, 2017. People have been waiting a long time for justice. The COVID has pushed these matters back and back. And now, because of this decision by the chairman of the Special Tribunal, Mr. Lawrence Achong, we do not know when these matters will be heard. We are concerned, extremely concerned about this decision. The matters that are before the court are linked to companies or to matters where we do have a branch board. And this is an important point to make, that the matters that we have are largely, we probably have just about 2 or 3 matters that we have where there is no branch board present. But he has lumped everything together and said that he will not be hearing any matter from the EPA. Because of the action now, we are quite concerned of if we could ever be fairly treated at the Special Tribunal. Because it seems as though the Special Tribunal has taken a decision, and because we contested this matter, that listen, here we're not hearing anything from it. The matter at hand was whether or not the association has jurisdiction to hear local standard to bring a matter to the special tribunal where there is no branch board. The matter that was put off on Wednesday, right, was a matter where there was a branch board. These are serious questions that need to be answered. The authorities must come and act on this matter. We are already an association that is spread out over 37, we have about 37 companies that we represent. Most of it are low wage, high abuse, high discrimination. A lot of issues we have been, we have had to write and put out in the press about the issues plaguing us concerning no overtime, NIS issues, the issues concerning victimization for joining the association, the issues concerning officers being made to pay for uniforms, and when they're leaving the company, they have to return it. The officers being fined and bonded and all of that, and not being paid overtime, right? Officers have been on Facebook, on using the social media to voice their complaints, right? You have people crying because they have not been paid in 3 and 4 months. And when we have been getting these issues now, where do we go? Where is justice? If the special tribunal is saying we are not going to hear our matters, we don't know when the special tribunal, the Privy Council will call this matter. So we are very, very concerned that we thought this matter is serious enough that we bring it to the attention of the general public, and we call for some action to be taken and proper investigation to be done into why the special tribunal would have taken this decision. And the fallout, whatever fallout it is, has to be applied. We want to know if that decision that was taken, right, is just. Because in our opinion, it is not just. The environment, those matters that have branch boards, we have to go on. As a matter of fact, the decision of the appeal court still stands. And that is the point. The decision of the appeal court still stands. They have just appealed it. So the Privy Council have not adjudicated on it. So you cannot now stop everything because you don't like what the Privy Council said, what the appeal court said. That is totally irresponsible. So that is where we are. That is why we asked you to come this morning. And if there are any questions, we will of course take the questions from you.
Who are you asking to intervene and investigate this matter? Who are you making this appeal to?
Well, so what we have done, we would have the person who will have handle this matter, Mr. Bullock. We've asked him to handle this matter first. Because one of the decisions is that the special tribunal is not a part of the industrial law. So, do we appeal to Ms. Deborah Thomas, the president of the court? But the special tribunal is not part of the court. So, Mr. Bullock will do the needful as to who he appeals. Right? We do know that the appointments of the court of judges, the industrial court, is done through the cabinet. And so that is where Mr. Bullock will come in as to direct where this goes.
You all are saying that you all are being victimized by the special tribunal.
Well, of course, that is our contention, because why? There is no reason for this matter to have been stood down yesterday, and for you to say that you're not going to hear any matter until this happens. Because if it were germane to the issue that the court adjudicated on, okay, we may be able to look at it and see where we could see some reason. But the matter does not arise, because the matters that we have before the court do the officers who have branch boards. And what is appealed is whether or not we have jurisdiction where they don't have branch boards. So you cannot lump everything in one.
What are some of the matters that you all have before the tribunal? Just you could just itemize.
Yes,
You
well,
don't have to go
general
into
section.
details.
Well, the matters we have before the special tribunal are general matters of the type that any worker representative organization has termination, people not having their vacation leave properly applied to them, issues of overtime not being paid as the president would have said. Just a few of the many issues that we have going before the court. And of course, we will recognize that the terminations are the most serious issues and that needs to be rectified as soon as possible because when those judgment takes long to come to fruition, it is much more difficult for the court in cases where we feel that they were unjust for these persons to not retain their employment. And then we have issues of negotiations where employers feel for whatever reason they do not want to meet and treat with the association as with the government of the day, not issue any negotiating instruction to the chief personnel officer to deal with state companies, which we represent quite a few. And then there are some private security companies that just simply refuse to discuss with us. All those matters now are before the court and some are headed towards the court. So, as the president said, what are we to do? Are we just have those matters in limbo and those members we have just twiddle their thumbs and while they wait for the Privy Council to do what it has to do? Because we have no idea of the time frame that the Privy Council works on. So it could be at the end of the year, it could be the end of next year, we simply do not know. And just to wait in abeyance is an untenable position for the association.
The association, we have, I'll just answer the thing, we have a number of matters that for the negotiations. As the judge said, the CPO has issued no instructions to engage in negotiations. Before the court, we have the matter of TNTech, right? Negotiations at 2012. As you understand, we have at the court, right? And Central Bank, right? So what you have is a situation where the OWT was given 10% for that period, yet Central TNTech would have offered 6% to the estate police, right? That matter is the officers are anxiously awaiting. That now you also have this situation. Because of that, you have a number of retirees who are also waiting that the outcome of that because they once you get an increase, the pensioners, right, also get something on their pension. So there are a lot of issues outside there that needs to be done. So you have people working on 2012 salaries. But pre-2012 salaries, you look at it, 2009 salaries you're looking at, right? So those things are very, very important. So to tell these people now that this thing is going to be put off until when again? I mean, it's just untenable. It is just untenable, right? We never anticipated this. We went to the court thinking that the court will be, of course, deal with us fairly, not because we have contested. That is our right to contest, right? A decision, right? And because of that, he's saying, listen, here what? See all them? We ain't hear from all again until it just don't make sense, right? Now, people may ask, well, maybe we contested the special tribunal, you know, but the special, as far as we're concerned, we are packed into a corner where we have no other choice. We have no other choice because that is the place we have to go. So we are asking now that be reviewed because could we go before special tribunal if after this go and get a fair hearing? Could we go and get a fair hearing? And the answer to us is no. That is what we see, that we are seeing that we will not be able to get a fair hearing.
So just based on what I understand, what you all will be doing there?
Well, we will be, our lawyer will have given us certain instructions, certain advice, and we will be constantly reviewing this with our team. We do intend to keep raising this matter and other matters, right? We have a number of matters that affects the association in some serious negative ways, such as the issue of contracts. And I want you all to dig into some of these things because we have been raising, but of course the association is not a fashionable thing, but we have been raising these issues. The issue of how contracts are issued in the security sector, especially in the state sector. You have contracts issued where people bidding $26, $24 and more. We have broken this thing down to show that a bid of $26, $24, it is impossible for any company to carry out the dictates of that bid, pay for NIS, pay for vacation leave, public holidays, medical life insurance, and all of that. Yet we have the state government policy saying, take the lowest bid, whatever the lowest bid is. Right? At present, you want to ask you all to dig at SWRHA. Our information is that there was a contract issue there, it's $26, I think. Right? And it's public notice, public knowledge. Right? That the provider was having serious problems providing the manpower resource for it. Right? Subject to verification, we're hearing now that they have not even yet signed the contract. So these are serious issues because these people are paid with taxpayers' money. People, WhatsApp, number of companies. We have everybody, all these companies, the officers crying. Those companies who are contracted to WhatsApp complaining months on, they cannot get any money. And they are transferring it now to the officers. Officers are not getting paid months. Right? WASA is not paying the contract. We have no problem. WASA, the contract obligation between WASA and the employer, right? The employer has to find ways of paying our officers. They work 12 hours, 16 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours at straight time. Straight time. They're placed in the most inhumane conditions. They are fined for any number of things. You have companies who charging you for, if you have to put your money in the bank, your salary assignment, $20. You have amalgamated charging officers, $20 to put the money in the bank so that you can get your salary. Right? You have the same company telling you that in order the drivers, if they get in an accident, they have this pool of funds, they take $50 a month or something like that, right? And put out a pool of funds if they get in an accident. Where's the insurance? What is that? What is that? What is going on? Right? PPE. You have just recently, on social media, probably would have seen an officer had a draw his firearm and engage a bandit on a run with a delivery van. Right? We have written to the Minister of Finance since last year asking him to remove all the duties and taxes on bulletproof vests so that it will make it affordable for the employer. The reason why we did that is because we've been perpetually being told about the cost of buying these bulletproof vests. Prohibitive about $4,000 or $5,000. If we remove 42% of that, right, it makes it affordable. No employer can now come to me and say, Mr. Richardson, we cannot buy 10 and we have to buy 5 and all that kind of nonsense. So we have been trying to address the issues in the security industry, trying to fix some of those issues from the ground level, from the level of where we think that the injury is occurring, in the bidding process, who gets contracts, how these contracts are done, how the officers are paid. Because this is taxpayers' money people talking about. The The state is the largest employer of security services in the country. The state. So when they pay these $1 million contracts, $46 million I think was for the one in Southwest Regional, $46 million, right? It's not $46 million of SWRH money, it's $46 million of our money.
So if they talk about the Southwest Regional, they have more than one security company there. Which one are they
Well, no, there's one, right now there's one. There were two before. There were two before, and one particular company is there now. Right? One particular company is there now, that PRD. Right? PRD is there now. Right? And we hearing that they're having problems with manpower. Good. So those are the issues. Now, remember, we're in a pandemic.
So my question, as you mentioned, the Ministry of Finance and reaching out to them with regards to removing taxes for bulletproofness. Seeing as though Monday is the budget, have you reached out to them recently?
Yes,
in order
we
to
did.
get that?
We sent it on the early in September. Early in September. We sent it last year also, around the same time, August, September, in anticipation of the budget. Right? So we are waiting. We don't know if it will be or not. We are hopeful that once again that they pay some particular attention to us. And this issue concerning the officer who was a joint fire again, right? You had the officer in Tobago, right, to a year and a half ago, who was shot and killed while carrying out his duty. So the issue of the safety of the officers is a real one. And those are the issues that we want to bring to the attention of the authorities. So we ask for anything that we don't think is reasonable. The lifetime of a vest is about 3 to 5 years. Good? So the cost to the taxpayer would not be as much because it's not a recurrent every year. You will have a whole drain on the thing to order vest. Order according to expiry dates. Right? So we are hopeful that the Minister of Finance does see the need and the sense in what we have asked, right? And we hear it announced in the budget on Monday. Okay, thank you.
So we all recorded it. What about the Southwest?
Yeah.
We finished? Are we finished?
Yeah. So I'm not going to lose the target. So this, we're going to have some heavy politics thing then.
You want me